A Sparta High School student is in police custody after fellow students found out he had written a list of 26 classmates he planned to kill.
News 8's Jenna Traum has been following this and joins us now live in our studio with more on the teenager's plan and how it was foiled.
Mike and Lisa, just days after a deadly school shooting in Ohio, a bullied teenager in our area was planning his own attack. And investigators say the Sparta sophomore had the means and the motivation to pull it off. Police say there was no mistaking what the Sparta high schooler's handwritten list of 26 names was for. It had the words "death list" written at the top.
He certainly had the means to carry out the threat had he wanted to, which is why we kind of took as immediate action as we had.
Police took the 16-year-old into custody Wednesday night. Interviews with the student revealed he had access to weapons in his home and that the list was of students he felt had bullied him.
Sometimes when you interview the person who made the threat, it's clear that they were just venting or they weren't really serious about it at all. It's not uncommon to hear somebody say, "Oh, I'm going to kill you," out of jest. But this was totally different than that.
Investigators do not think there was anyone else involved with writing the list. They say there was no longer an immediate danger to Sparta High School students or staff.
That's what we're always want to do, is make sure that the school remains a safe learning environment. It shouldn't be an environment where you have to go with the fear of somebody coming in there with a gun.
But the police chief says there is a potential the student could be a danger to himself, and there are plans for his mental health to be evaluated.
Just drafting a death wish or a death list isn't something that normal kids would do, if they're not under some type of stressors. When you look at the fact that he drafted the list, he had the means, he had the motive, in his head to do these things. That's just abnormal behavior.
And while the Ohio school shooting may have seemed far away before, the chief says it now feels disturbingly close to home.
It does bring to light this whole bullying issue that we've seen on the national scene, and it does kind of bring it back to the local scene. And, I think that, all area police departments and school districts are, actively looking at this and trying to find ways to combat it.
Last night, investigators contacted all of the students on that list they could identify, but some of the students were listed by first names only. Classes at Sparta High School were held as usual today.
Thank you, Jenna. Right now, the student is at a juvenile facility outside of Monroe County.
Police are still investigating his threat and are reviewing possible punishments against him.